Um, so let's get started. Today I wanted to talk about. Hello, Hima, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about backup and recovery. We'll see our recovery today, but let's just focus on several different backup techniques available for us and the importance of backup and what are all the. See, the important thing is why do we do backup? When do we do backup? You can just put the sound will not come out, right? So, so yeah, why do we do backup? Second one is when do we do backup? And the third one is what are all the components which we have to back importantly, like to identify which components needs to be backed up.
Hemant?
Yes.
Sorry to disturb in the middle. I could hear the resonance from your side. It's not clear.
Shall I try now? Hello? Still you're getting the resound?
Yes.
1 second. I think. Your mic. Okay, you muted. Muted. Now you're getting any resound?
Yes. Still, I can hear the same voice like for 2 times.
Yes. Even I am getting. I think probably because we both are sitting next to each other. I don't know. We'll see. We'll try see. So let me continue from where I stopped. So the backup, importance of backup. What are the components that needs to be backed up on a regular basis or also on an ad hoc basis, unscheduled backups? So how do we do this? We have several different tools which help us to do the backing up. So it is important to identify what are all the important components that needs to be backed up, because at the time of recovery, it is these components which help you to recover your system. So why do we do the backup on a general level? Because because you never know, something may go wrong at any point of time, and you would want to recover your machine state to the last successful state. So to maintain the integrity of the system, so that the process are running and it doesn't get stopped, we use backup and recover facilities. So it is important to have a good backup policy in every organization. So it depends on what the amount of criticality and the type of the data they are handling. So they'll have their own backup schedules and backup policies. And so it's also important to know that once you have backed up, you're backing up, for example, the contents every once in a week. So so how long you have to retain that backup? All these backups will be accumulated in your file system, so they may take a large space. So how many backups you need to store? It is again a policy which your organization and your team decides, and you stick to that. So we have so as I told you, the most important part of your server component is your metadata server. The metadata server contains all the metadata components of your users, groups, jobs, all the other server processes. So it is very important to back up your metadata server. When I say backing up your metadata server, what do I mean? I mean backing up your repositories, whether foundation repository is the most important one. So foundation repository, custom repository, and your project repository. So all three repositories needs to be backed up along with your repository manager. A repository manager is something which will keep track of all your repositories. So that is a very important component of metadata server. You should have known what a repository manager and its importance is. You should never change its configuration. You should never touch a repository manager in usual circumstances. So when I say metadata backup, I mean backing up all the metadata server, all the metadata repositories, repository manager, and sometimes configuration files also. So what does a configuration file means? Configuration file, I'll show you what a configuration file. What does a configuration? I mean, in general, as an admin point of view, whenever I say a configuration file, it means that how do you want the metadata server to work? Like, what is the how many parallel threads you want to process at a time, or what is the I'll show you. OMA config.xml is the metadata server configuration file. You won't use that much often, but we'll see what is an OMA config. So specifies changes to the, so it has features of the metadata server, like how do you want your metadata server. It has the number of threads that are allowed to run concurrently on a SaaS metadata server. So for example, how many processes you want to process at a time. So you can mention that in your metadata server. And what are the journaling options? So what do you mean by journaling options? A journal, anything, if I talk about journal, it is time specific. For example, I'll give you a small example. If you're doing a backup, say like you have a big backup and you want to go to a specific time, you don't want to recover everything from that backup, you want to recover only that specific time frame content. So you should use the journaling option to roll forward to that particular position of time, and you can back up from there. So journaling, what it does is it gives a timestamp to every aspect, and from based on the timestamp you can just roll forward or roll back. So that is journaling in brief. So all the password policies, all the repository manager information, it is all stored in config.xml. This is what is called XML configuration file. So where do you find it? You will find it in your so this is where your SaaS is installed, local server C SaaS VIDG lev 1. When I say lev 1, you have lev 1, lev 2, lev 3, lev n. I mean, you can call it. Lev 1 is usually called for production. 1 refers to production. So here we will have SaaS meta is the metadata server, and metadata server C. You have this, right? OMA config.xml. This is your configuration file. I'll open it for you. So all the changes, I mean all the configuration changes you are making in your metadata server, they get stored in your metadata server folder. So you can see the XML file. I'm not sure if you know XML or not, but this is just simple. You can understand what are the admins. Admin users are pulled from this admin users.txt file. These are the trusted users. The trusted users are all defined in the trusted users.txt, and these are all the, I don't know what the other one is, but this is an email which is not configured, journal type, roll forward, so written passwords. So this is just an example, like repository management manager path is RPO SMGR. So this is a sample. I mean, this is just to give you an idea of what a configuration file means. So sometimes we back up this one as well. So this folder is very important. I mean, you just know the folder structure. Once the software is installed in your machine, you can just walk through all the folders and see uh, what are all the important. These are the metadata repositories. This is the foundation repository, which you should not touch in a regular things. This is the project which I created. This is the project repository. Okay. So these are the metadata server components. So which one? File structure is, I mean, you have to just go through. I mean, once it installed, this is all the metadata server components, all the OMA config.xml, all any file. I mean, you find while you're going through the document, you should try to find it in these folders. Try and search for those folders. Try and search for those folders, and you will find it. OMA config.xml is for the configuration. One second. Okay, so these are the metadata repository. You will find everything here. All the backups will be stored here, which we'll discuss now. If at all you are using metadata backup scheduler, which I'll show you where it is and how does it work. So it gets stored here. The backups get stored here. The journals, I don't know how the journals get stored here, but you should know what a journal does. I mean, it is used for roll forwarding to a particular point of time. And these are the logs. These are the metadata server logs. If you are interested, you can just open them and see. These are the metadata repositories. You should have known what a metadata repository is by now. And repository manager, you should not touch this repository manager in a usual sense. I mean, this contains all the information about your metadata repositories, especially your foundation repository. Okay, these are the SAS users, which is empty at this point of time. Admin users, SAS ADM at the rate, SAS PW. Okay, so I mean, out of curiosity, if you want, just go through these files and try and check in your administration guide what does this file means. Try to know more about that, and if you don't understand, if you have any doubt, just note it down and let me know. Okay, so I'll show you the where we can do the backups. So this is the metadata manager. There is a lot of plugins which we have, which an admin uses. One of the important one is the metadata manager, which is used to manage the complete metadata. When I say manage metadata management, I said a lot of things, right? Backup and restore, licenses, hot fixes, and all that stuff, right? So one of the thing is server backup. In the metadata utilities, I don't know if you're able to see. Let me just increase the. Okay, so this is a metadata manager. Active server is SAS EDU, which means SAS EDU is your metadata server. Okay, in the metadata utilities, you can find your server backup. Go to the server backup, and you can see backup schedule here. Okay, so this is your scheduled backup. The schedules are already been defined. As you can see, it starts at 1 AM daily, Sunday to Saturday, except your Monday. Okay, on Monday reorg happens on Monday at 1 AM. So what does this reorg means? Have you gone through backup material? Have you guys gone through, you got a time to look into your backup and recovery? I mean, backup things. Did you find reorg here?
Yes, so the reorganization is nothing but so whatever the scheduled ones, whichever won't run, so they would be organized in the first way, I mean the first line. So is it that?
No. What reorg means is, in a simple way, so your you're backing up, right? I'll show you here. I'll show you with the definition. Reorganized repositories. The backup that is performed on Monday uses reorganized repositories. So what is reorganized repositories? When metadata is deleted from metadata repository, like there is a folder. Defragmentation, right? In the disk spaces. Suppose in a hard disk you're deleting the files. In the file system, how it happens is you're deleted one file, that space gets empty. But next time when you are saving another file, the file gets saved in the next location, not the one where you have deleted. So these lumps of deleted empty spaces form those lumps. I can show you with an example. Fragmented disk space. See, it is more or less like this. Try to understand. So what happens is this 100 MB is cleared, the 60 MB is already occupied. So for example, this 100 MB is a new space, is a new file which I saved. So this 100 MB this lump of space will already is not used. So in order to use that, what you do is you defragment your system, you defragment your hard disk, so that all these lumps, which are red in red in space, red in color, they will be all accumulated, and they will give you a continuous what do you say, continuous space. So that is fragmenting, defragmenting. This is more or less like that. What it does is, you can understand here, the record is removed from both memory and disk. However, the disk space that has been allocated to the record remains in the disk set. When you schedule or run metadata server backup, you can select reorganize repository option to reclaim unused disk space left for the previously deleted metadata. So whenever you have deleted previously metadata and there is an unused disk space, you can use that using reorganized repository. You don't have to run reorganized repositories daily. Once in a week, to once a sufficient amount of space accumulates, you can use that. Okay, that is done usually on Monday. So that is basically about these two options. This is a backup schedule, and there is the properties. In the properties you can see, right? Sorry.
How often do we do? You said that it's done weekly, right?
It's done daily. Reorganize is done weekly, but backup is done daily. That is a metadata server backup, which happens, which is a scheduled backup which runs every night at 1 o'clock. I just showed you the table, right? So here you can see run backup now, which will start your backup right now. You can see the option, and recover from alternate location. Recover from alternate location will take you to file location space where you have already backup files, and you can take it from there and you can recover. And this is the backup configuration. So what does backup configuration means? It will, where do you want backups to store, and how many days you want to retain the backup. Here backup configuration policy is 7. So for 7 days you will have each backup. So if you start a backup today, for the after 7th day, this backup which you have taken today will be deleted. Okay, you want to see that, you can find all this in the metadata server backup configuration. It's the same thing, once you configure it from there, everything you do from SaaS management console, there is a file which will get created in the background. This is one of the you can see the same thing, right?
Can we edit this in XML?
I don't know. Yeah, you can edit this also, but I'm not that good with the XML part. But I don't know if you can, if you edit this, it will change there in the management console. It should actually. So it is same, like as I told you, it has a certain code like weekday 1, weekday 2, and all. It runs the backup return policy is 7, and all, how many days you want to run the backup schedule. Backup configuration is the backups. You can also direct it. I mean, this is the location which has been given.
No, like if you want to get into cloud.
If you have a cloud platform already associated with your this thing, you can use it with your, if you have all the network connectivity provided, then you can use it. I mean, usually what you'll do is in the in your work environment, when you take a backup, you will store it in your shared disk space, shared file system, or your Unix file system you use, right? You give a certain directory, you will provide a directory, or you'll probably, what you do is in an organization, if you're taking a production backup, you will either put it in your development file server. You will just take all these files and put it in your development system, so that if your production crashes down, you can recover it from your alternate locations. So I mean, it doesn't make, I mean, see, if you are backing up and putting it on the same machine, and if the complete machine goes down, how will you retrieve the backup? So that's how we used to do in our organization. We used to back it up and put it in our dev server. So
Here also
I mean, it depends on your organization. They bring it to like US server or whatever, probably another location on production server itself. Migration in the sense, version migration, because the company is upgrading from 9.2 to 9.3, SAS 9.3 to 9.4, or that's mostly the migration tasks you do. So I don't know. So by migration, you mean you have to drop to dev. That is a change management. We will discuss that. Any changes you'll have. How do you migrate it? Yeah. Sorry, so these are so this is basically about backups. So if you see, these are all the backups which have been successfully completed, which have not been successfully completed, which have been done long time back. I haven't done any backups of late. So if you take any backup, and you can just right click on this and see recover from a backup, that recovers your metadata content from that particular backup. And if you want to see the properties of that backup, it will show you all the files in the backup are currently correct, type backup, successful, when was this completed, the location, and user ID, metadata, scheduler, and what is the backup? Sorry, what is the backup size? It is 16.28 MB. So here in the backup, you will find that file. So you will see, you can see, right, what are all the contents you want to see. Backup all the files, configuration files, repositories. This is the foundation repository. This is the repository manager. The foundation repository. There is a code with which it is getting saved, but you should know what is what. So this is these are all the backups here. So I'll just walk through my notes, whatever I have written. So always use metadata backup facility to backup repository manager and metadata repositories and files in metadata server. So you know what is this comprehension. What is the metadata server backup facility? The one which you use from SAS management console. So this is your metadata server backup facility. Okay. So these are regular scheduled backups. Before and after changes, I mean, usually before any major changes happen, you backup your content. You backup this stuff. Okay. You should have a reliable location where you can backup. That's what I said when I have to move it to the same server or a different server, or the same server, a different location. So what are other things which you want to make sure when you're?
I have one question.
Yes.
Yeah, how to move it into a different server?
You have to have a see, what usually happens is I'll tell you on a with a general level. So you back it up, place these contents on your file system. Usually if you are backing up production content, you will use the production server only. So these files get stored on your production Unix system or Windows machine, wherever the location you give. Or you can give the, if it is network configured, you can directly map it to your dev server. But what I suggest would make sense is back it up on your production machine, and from there you use FTP or SFTP to transport these files to the dev machine.
Okay.
Okay, so apart from metadata server, you can use anything, any third-party tool, or usually use SFTP or FTP, FTP, or you can directly use WinSCP and just take the files. I mean, it depends on anything.
In production, generally they use SFTP.
Yeah, SFTP they use.
No file reading.
I don't know. When I use, we use only SFTP because that is a secured file transfer protocol, and you are dealing with the production content, right? So it's better to use SFTP. So other things. What are all the other components which you should
No,
make
but
sure?
my question is, can we directly give the path?
Yeah, you can view. You should go through the document. I have gone through the document. I found it somewhere. What is that thing is, you have to configure that thing to that has to be your management console. Yeah. There has to be a way where you can directly contact from production SaaS management console. You should directly contact your dev server, and you should be able to give that path. For that, there must be some configuration. Just check that and let me know. And yeah. So apart from the metadata server component, you need to back up your SaaS content as well. What do you mean by SaaS content? SaaS content means the content which is generated from your web applications, the web application content, and
Are they the folders you mean?
not the folders exactly, but it is all the data, the physical data that gets created on your file systems. The storage, the digital content of the reports, images, and all the documents, I mean all the files of your client applications. So those are the contents, and your SAS data sets, SPTS data sets, and your relational database tables. So these are all the physical contents, which needs to be backed up along with your metadata server. So whenever you're making a backup, you should make sure that these are all in sync. Your content server, your web infrastructure, and physical server, and your metadata server. So all this needs to be in sync. If in the document it's clearly specified, so you can make a note of it from the document. Okay. So I'll tell you the process. Like if you want to see this scheduled backup, this works on its own. Like it is automated. This is scheduled at a time, right? So what if you have to do a backup? If you have to do a backup, you have to stop or pause the metadata server. So you can stop or pause the metadata server, SAS meta.
Pause the schedule backup.
No. See from where can I pause the metadata server?
Can we go to the services and do that?
No. Those are the services. See, there is a difference between a server and a services. Those services are only to enable the metadata server to start working on your machine. These are all the servers on your actual server. So I
Yeah. You just follow.
Yeah. I think we will have to first validate it, but I don't want to do that right now. I don't know what that will happen, because as of now it is functioning properly. If something goes wrong, I don't know, but yeah, you can see this option right now from here.
No, I think we have to connect it. Once we connect it, then it would be.
It's already connected.
No, it's not. If it would have been connected, then it would not show the screen.
Let's see.
Now it,
Yeah, you can start.
now,
You can just pause it. I don't want to pause it, but yeah, you can pause it, and you can. These are the steps. Backup steps: stop or pause your metadata server, and lock the write access to all the physical content available. So while the backup is going on, no updates to your content or your database table should happen. So lock those write access and only give read access.
So first step should be sending the two data.
Yeah, that thing all you will just manage. I mean, we don't have that much time to discuss in detail. I mean,
No. What I have to say is that the procedure generally.
see, every organization has its own backup policy. They'll obviously inform everybody. Yeah, you will obviously inform them and make sure that they have they know that, and they are.
But can you do a redundant server online, like redundant metadata server?
Like
if the system, is going to go backup.
Okay.
So for that, then whoever is doing some changes to the code, the development team, they can do their work, but on an alternate server, metadata server. I mean, grid architecture is in the rest.
Hello. Hello. Hello, Hima, am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. So where was I? So those are the backup steps. Okay. That is, I'll share a document with you. I found it some time back. This has all the steps for the backup. Okay. That is a pretty old document, but it is good for your reference. That is 9.0 backup. So that is I said we have several different backup facilities, right? Like how do we backup and all. So this is one metadata server backup facility is what you use from here, backup schedule, and we have SAS folders. So here we can use backup on everything. Like this is a security. In the system we have security like users. If you want to backup your users, groups and all, you can just right click.
Can you share the screen, please?
Oh, screen is not shared, sorry.
Even my connection is not getting connected. So rank 5G, what's the password?
Same. Can you see now?
Yeah.
So this one was the metadata server backup facility. Now we have folders. Here we'll have we have several different folders. Folders are used to organize your content, your metadata content, and use your some of your physical content. Shared data will have your shared content, and these are all the project related contents which you can place it in your folders. So security in the system, security, it is all the security related files, that is your users, groups and all the users which are created will come here. So here in the security, if you are creating an import and export, you can see, right, export SAS package will back up all your security related content. Got it? So this is your import and export wizard. This is one way of backing up your some of your things, some of your SAS related files. And there is one more. I think we are getting resound again. Just mute your muted. Okay. So there is one more way you can backup from the enterprise guide. You guys find out how to backup from the client applications. Try to find out is there any way to backup contents from your client applications. So this is from management console which I showed, right? Suppose if you open enterprise guide or if you open DI studio, is there any way to backup the SAS related content? Just try to find that out. I'll tell you one more thing. So this is all backing up from using backup tools in client application. From client applications, how do you backup? Enterprise guide.
I have
DI studio. Yes.
So in the previous video, this question is related to the previous videos and in the creation of users.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to ask after the session ends or can I interrupt in the middle?
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, the thing is like, so we are going to create the users in the SAS management console, right?
Yes.
Then later, can you tell me like how to access the users from the client side? I mean, from the enterprise guide or from the data integration guide?
How do you log in?
No, how do I access it?
Access you? I didn't get you.
See, the thing is like when I have gone through the videos of the Kumar, so there was some issue, right, in the video 4, in the training set video 4. So we have created the user in the SAS management console. Then later when we are trying to access the user from the SAS enterprise guide, we couldn't do that. So I was not able to understand that.
That's not accessing user. You mean trying to create a connection profile and logging into enterprise guide with
Yes.
that particular user?
Yeah.
Okay. See, there are two ways for that. If you are creating an internal account and doing it, it is okay. But for external accounts, since we don't have a Unix ID, it is not possible to create a connection profile and login in this particular environment. So we can create an internal account and log in. I will show it to you in the next class how to create. I mean, we have created internal account, right? I'll create another internal account for enterprise guide, and I'll create a connection profile and help you to log in. But for using external user IDs, it is not possible to log in because we don't have Unix IDs or Windows IDs right now.
Okay.
It is not possible to demonstrate here. But usually in the work environment, once you have external ID, you have created the ID, you should be able to directly, you know, this will not work now, enterprise guide, it will ask me to restart some services, but you can just go and I'll show you.
You mean to say when we open the enterprise guide, so we need to log in with the user ID and password which we created in the SaaS management console, right?
Right.
Okay.
So here you can see that, you know, this is my server, this is one of the connection profiles. Here you can see my server will be there. This is my connection profile. Test is another, test internal is another. You can just add another connection profile. You can give the name, description, what is the server name. Here you will give username and password.
I mean the username and password which I have created in the SaaS management console.
And you will create this profile.
Okay.
Once you create this profile, you can set this as active. Right now my server is active, so that every time I log on to your enterprise guide, it will automatically get connected to my server profile.
Okay.
So my server has certain user ID and password which is already configured.
Okay.
Okay. Is this clear your doubt?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I quickly want to cover one more topic which is very important. I want you to study more on that. Yeah, we'll talk about enterprise guide sometime. This is just connection profile. Once you get the software, it is easy. You can create a connection profile. It's not a big deal. Write it down if you want, like creating connection profiles. So one more important topic is, okay, now you have created a backup. Now you have scheduled a backup. One way of scheduling backup is scheduling from your metadata server backup to. How to automate your backup using script? Okay, there should be without any manual intervention, there should be some scripts running at some point of time which take off backup, right? So for this we will use OMA backup. OMA backup procedure is one of the procedures which will use yes. OMA backup is a macro. See, you can see here, you can read it here, right? You can execute backup program and restore backup program that you provide. The backup.services.sh program uses like percentile OMA backup macro to create correct backup of your metadata repository, the repository manager, the metadata general file, and all the metadata files. So all the metadata which you have done it from management console, you can do it from script also. While scripting, you need to use this one, %OMA backup. Okay. So that is, read more about it as to what it does and how to write the syntax and all. I don't know, I haven't gone through that, but what is a macro first of all, and what is this macro basically? So I'm just giving you.
They're all in SAS macro.
Everything will be there. No, just give OMA backup and read.
So is it similar to a SAS macro?
It is a SAS macro. It is a SAS macro, but some of the macros you will use it in administration also. So this is one of them, and there is so there is one, you should get this doubt, right? If you are using it from script, you're automating it, you're scheduling it at time, everything is fine. Now, how to pause the metadata server, how to activate the metadata server, how to change the permissions, because you are not interactively using your SAS management console now. Everything has to go through a code, right? So how do you do that? We will use proc meta operate. There is a this thing called proc meta operate. Try to get more information about it. See, they'll not ask you to write code, man. They'll ask how do you automate your backup? You just say like OMO backup and talk about that back row for some time, and try to know the general details. Even I don't know much about that. I'm just do that, and this is meta operate. Know the syntax, what is it, what are the states it can move the metadata repository to, it can server to, it can put it in offline, it can put it in read only, it can do XML, right? Yes. So these are the two important things which I wanted to discuss.
But in your how do they generally upload XML codes?
I don't know, man. No idea. No idea about XML. I haven't worked with XML. I know that there's some configuration files which I wanted to check. I was checking it through the backend, but I don't know much about the XML. You don't have to worry about that XML files much.
Generally, most of them they do it using management console itself.
Yeah, most of the stuff you will do it from management console.
So what's the use of automation? You can use automation in management console.
You can do that. See, that is a doubt which I had, because you can schedule.
We just did that,
The schedule calendar. We can do that, but yeah. See, even I had that doubt, because you can schedule a metadata backup from SMC, but it is always an option. I mean, you have to do it through coding. If you want to, and again, OMA backup only backups your metadata content, not your physical. They only backup your metadata repositories and your repository manager only. Okay. So how does it function? I'll just break down that code, and I'll just tell you the pseudocode kind of thing. So what it does is, it is an automatic. It is used to automate backup process, and what it does is, in the first step, it pauses your repository manager first, and then pauses your metadata repositories, and uses a proc called proc copy to copy your repository manager and metadata repositories to a new network path. So this is a network path you were saying, right? You have to map it, I guess, some way, map that server details somehow with a network connection, and you can place that dev server file system hostname / directory name, and you can copy your these things there in the proc copy proc. You should use that. I mean, in OMA backup itself uses that proc. And then and one important thing is, you need to run this proc using admin ID, and also that ID needs to have access to write the files on the system. I mean, you're copying, right? You're copying from one file to one directory, one environment to other environment. So this ID should have access on that particular file system also. So it is better to use which ID I wrote it, SAS installer ID, to perform this to do that.
So first is that and
it's already 1:26. We'll discuss. We'll revise that. Let me just continue as many as I can. So that see, there are two types of backups. I want you to study more on that. Full backup and incremental backup. Where do you use full backup? Where do you use incremental backup? What are the advantages of both? What are the disadvantages of both? So full backup is like a complete backup. For every metadata related backups, you will use full backups. Like, whenever I say metadata recovery backup, you should say I will back up metadata repository file, repository manager, and all the repositories, not just foundation repository, the custom repositories and the project repositories and the configuration files. So all this accounts to a full repository. Whenever I say incremental backup is usually accompanied to your data or physical data. For example, you have backed up your physical data today. Tomorrow, you don't have to back up the complete data. You only back up the delta or the incremental value, what has been changed from today to tomorrow. Okay, that is an incremental backup. Usually for data, because it is huge in size, you don't prefer full backups. You go for incremental backups. So that is something about incremental backups.
Full backups maybe you do it monthly basis. Or?
No, on a weekly basis you'll do for full backups. I had this frequency of backups. Where did I find it? I'll give you this document. You check this document. I think there must be at what frequency will do it. Okay, we'll see. Anything else which I'm leaving out?
Points, concluding points. Can you tell us? What are the points you discussed today and what we need to work on?
And you guys tell me what are all we discussed today. I've been talking for a while now. It's already 1:28.
Backup. You told us about how backup is done. What are backup schedules? What is a backup metadata server backup? What are the repositories that are involved? And then what are the journals? What are journal options? Do some research on journals. Then you told about configuration file, and you also told about the repository manager. Then you told us about reorganizing what is
reorg repositories.
Then that's a very important part, I think, right?
Right. Everything is important, whatever we discussed, but you may get questions on what is reorganized repositories and all. From admin point of view, those are important.
Then you told about backup configuration, production backup, how it is done, in development system, real production environment, how it is done. We just gave some points about it that we can do research on, like development system backup and all that. Then you told about directly configuring to an external part, how we can do that. That you told us to do research on. Told us about digital contents, RDBMS, physical contents.
Yeah, one thing which I want you guys to check and let me know is, this is my doubt. So when you're when I said suppose if I'm backing up the physical content, like database tables. So what are the precautions I need to take? Like in what state the server must be? Anything which I have to take care from the metadata server point of view, or from the application server point of view? Anything which I need to take care, like pause anything, which IDs I must use, like basically the database stuff or your application server stuff. Okay, just check. If you go through the documents, you will know. So what are all the physical contents? When I say physical content, what are the physical contents? SAS data files, data sets, OLAP structure files, that is your metadata related files. Sorry, not metadata, multi-dimensional data, not metadata, sorry. SPDS data sets. We'll talk about what an SPDS data set is. Why do you use SPDS? I already gave some information about what an SPDS is sometime back. And RDBMS tables, the codes, the source files for your jobs, all the codes which are getting generated, all these physical content can be backed up using your operating system commands, because they reside on your file system You can just back it up using CP or using, you can just CP, you can just zip them in a folder and you can just FTP them to a new file location and place it in a file, safe file
The
location.
backup file is generally zipped, like it's a compressed version
Right,
of the
right,
entire data.
right. You just pull all this together and place it in a backup folder with a date, time, timestamp.
So, do we need to do some encryption as well?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't come across anything
From
which
security
is.
point of view.
No, I did not come across anything as such in the documents. Let me know if you can.
They have a security protocol as well. That's
There is a security administration guide. So there is a separate administration guide for security.
okay. We won't be dealing much with it.
No, the security is a important thing of an administrator. Yeah, security is the prime most thing because you cannot compromise security, right? Administrator takes care of the integrity of the system, the security of the system. He has to maintain the availability of the system, right? So these are all the availability, integrity. These are the very important things. So go through. Let me know if you find anything interesting on the backup stuff. But yeah, don't just rely on this 1 hour session. Just go through these topics here in the backup restore facilities, and I'll send you a document again today. Go through that, and in the SAS blogs which I've given you, just in the search option, go and check. There are several different SAS users. Go and check their profiles, and they must be writing some articles on any topic. Just go through. The more you surf, the more you will get to know here. Okay, I think I'll have to wind it up here. I'll let you know tomorrow what I'll let you know in some time what we'll discuss tomorrow. Probably we'll discuss recovery and hot fixes, license, how to change the license.
You told about yesterday.
Yes, we'll discuss that. But yeah, come prepared to the session again. That's I. Okay, so I think I'm good for today. Hima, you have any doubts here?
Nothing.
Okay.
I feel like the course is rushing up. So is it so like that because you need to wind up by 12?
No, it's not like that because I don't have much time to spend with you. That's the problem.
It's like rushing up because because since I'm new to this, it's not even for me, like I don't have even time to make a note of all this stuff, apart of relying only on the videos, listening again and again.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't rely on the videos. Rely on the documents. Rely on most on the documents. You will get much information from the documents. You'll get only the 10%. I'm just giving you 10% or 15% of assistance of whatever I have studied, so that you don't have to if you have any doubts, you'll clear it with me. But don't be under the that's what I'm been telling, like, because this is not everything which I'm teaching you. I'm just giving you an idea. That's it. Just because I told you, right? Read this, read that. What is OMA backup? Because for you to find OMA backup itself will take a time in that document. So read OMA backup is what my opinion is. See, Rima, the problem is don't be under the impression that it is new and it is fast. Even I was new to admin, and I may not be able to spend more time with you guys after this week or so. I have some other stuff to take care of, so that's where I'm going in. But yeah, so you think this is we are going very fast right now?
Super fast. Not even a fast is an adjective word. It's beyond that.
Okay, so I think it is. You should see the training set videos too. Actually, these are like very fast. Very fast. I don't know, but how much time are you able to spend on the documents daily?
Daily 6 to 7 hours. I mean, right from morning 10 until evening 6.
How much of the SAS system administration guide were you able to complete?
Until 105.
105, okay. Okay.
Parallel, even I'm looking the videos which I have been listening every day, and the videos which have been dealt with Kumar and doubts through googling. So that's what I'm meaning. So it's like seriously super rushing, and then I don't think like, oh no.
See, if it is, I don't know, maybe talk to, yeah, take your time, first, don't worry about these videos, first, go through the documents and list down your doubts, whatever we have discussed until now, and see, if it is, in terms of, if I have to slow down, the problem, I'll tell you what, if I have to slow down, I'll slow down, but I cannot cover all most of the topics which I have noted down for you to say. Suppose I have noted 10 important topics. I'm just giving you a clue. I'm just giving you a clue so that you will go, whenever you go to the session, it will be useful for you. If I go slow, I may be able to cover only 4 or 5 topics, five things which I want to cover. And for example, for backup, if I have to take for backup, I can teach for 3 days. I mean, for slowly, what is a backup? If you take it from that point of view, it will take 3 days. But I cannot give you 3 days, right? In a practical point of view, I cannot spend 3 days on a backup. Yeah, I mean, once you have the software, you will be a bit more confident, is what I feel. That is why I've been telling you, like, you guys downloaded it or installed it. That's been my thing. I don't know, Hima, talk to Satish once, take his guidance. That's what I'm saying. If you want to slow it down, I can slow it down if my teaching pace, but maybe I'll have to cut down on certain topics, and
No, but that's not.
yeah, because the basics and all you can get it from document, but some of the extra topics which I have gathered, you may not find it in topics. That's the point. Even when I took the training also, I was clear with him that I have completed the administration guides. Don't go through the take most time, waste time on that dealing with the basics. Come to the actual point, how it is done in the real time environment. So that's important.
You are actually helping yourself for the interview.
Yeah, interview is important. Then it is a different thing you can manage, but interview is important. Okay, yeah, talk to Satish and tell what your concern is, and maybe I will also talk to him and see what I can do. Okay?
Sure, thank you.
Yeah.